Hey there everybody, today we are making raised beds for my blueberries. It is extremely windy today. Hopefully y'all can hear me, and hopefully I've gotten my camera all worked out and it should be recording on the right quality. So what I have behind me is rough cut boards. They are 6 feet in length. They're little fence boards that you make a fence with, and they're roughly 6 inches wide, like a half-inch thickness. And the raised beds we're making, they're going to be 3 feet by 3 feet, and that gives us 9 cubic feet of soil. And so what we're going to do, we're going to cut these boards right here in half, and then I got some 2x4s, some scrap 2x4s from building my greenhouse here, and we're going to cut these 2x4s probably about 14 inches, gives 2 or 3 inches over 12 inches over a foot. That way I can like put a little hoop on it maybe and put bird netting over my stuff if I want to. But that's the dimensions, and let's get started. Oh, and by the way, my truck back there in the garden is where I'm putting cow manure in the garden. I started and I got about 2/3 of the way through, and I wanted to make sure I had enough for my raised beds that I'm making here, so I just stopped and put it on hold. But that's why my truck's sitting in the garden. And yes, I waited until my garden was fully dry to go into the garden, because I didn't want to replay it last year and me just sinking down. But that didn't happen because the garden's nice and dry. But yeah, so I'll show you how to make these raised beds. Alrighty, so the first things first is we're cutting these boards right here down to, sorry, chicken. We're cutting these down to 3-foot lengths, like they are here. And we're using a framing square to get a nice square cut. And did I tell y'all these raised beds, they're going to be 12 inches deep. And I'm stacking these boards like this. And that's going to be my raised bed. But 3 feet. Now you're going to put them on your saw, all the way against your fencing here. And we're going to cut right on the line since we're cutting in the center of the board. And always put on your safety glasses. And then cut. And now that we got all the sides cut, we got our 2x4s, and we're cutting on to 14 inches. So one of the first things you always want to do is you want to cut a new edge. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then now we're going to measure it to 14 inches. And use a framing square to mark it. Then mark the side you don't want, so that way you know you're using this side. And then now we're just going to cut it. And we're cutting on the right side of the line. Well, it depends on where you make it, but you know. And now we got our 14-inch piece, and now I need to cut 4 more of these. Now it's time for assembly. So we got all our boards cut, and we got 4 of these 2x4s cut in the correct lengths, and we're just going to nail them together. So I got 2 boards laid out on the ground here, and I'm just going to show y'all how it's going to be. I'm going to do it like this, and I'm going to be doing this way for 2 of them. The other 2, I'll show you later. But this time we'll have it set up. This right here is the inside of my raised bed. Hold on. Now this right here is the inside of my raised bed. This is the outside right here. And so you want to nail to the inside. So I'm just going to go down like this. Alright, so just like this, I'll have it laid out, and then now we're just going to nail the board. I am using a nail gun. Alright. You gotta think about where your nails are gonna go, because there's gonna be boards on this side. So I'm gonna always check to make sure everything stays in square. And our raised bed is starting to come together. I could probably do with only 1 nail in the boards, but hey, why not 2? Alright, so now we got our 2 corners done. Now we need to get the 2 outside edges. That's how it goes. Alright. So this is going to be a little bit more tricky. Make sure everything stays lined up. Just like that. And our raised bed is starting to come together. See how it's looking? Just like this. And now we're putting this side up right here. Like this. So here's the raised beds all done. I'm planning to put a few more for watermelon and cantaloupe, because I'm going to be growing watermelon and cantaloupe in here. But that's what they're looking like. And all I got to do is level them. But they are spaced, the raised beds themselves are spaced 4 feet apart, which gives the plants 6 feet in between each other. And the plants are going to be planted in the center of the bed. And so what we're going to do is we're going to fill these raised beds halfway full with cow manure. That's up to the first board here. So here's my bag of sulfur, and this makes the soil more acidic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a scoop and be sure not to breathe this stuff in, and we're going to put it over this cow manure. Alright, so what you're looking at here is peat moss, and I'm going to be putting it in my little raised beds here. I put a little bit extra cow manure in there, and there's probably like 8 inches, and so I don't know, but I'm going to try and mix all of this bag. It's 2 cubic feet, I think it said. No, it's 3 cubic feet. Yeah, 3 cubic feet are going to be going in here. It's a very, very fine peat moss. So here we are, all done. And I made this video to show y'all how I built my raised beds and also what I put in the raised beds. And as you saw, it's 50-50. It's got 50% of it is cow manure, and the other half is peat moss. And it turned out really, really well. I think the blueberries will do really good. And so my next video will be planting the blueberries, and y'all can watch that next. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and maybe I inspired some of y'all to do the exact same thing I'm doing. But it looks pretty good. Now it's got to build more raised beds. And I just want to give y'all another look. This is how the corners are. You know, you can't see this 2x4 at all. I overlaid it, and it's flush, and that's how I did that. See? And I probably could have just done 1 nail, but like I said earlier, why not 2? And they're 12 inches deep, and they're 3 feet, and that gives it a total of 9 cubic feet total. And there's 1 blueberry plant per bed.